Hey guys, welcome to the Nail That Studio podcast. And I know I've done a few, but today I have one of your favorite nail artists, Tino Vo, on the podcast. I'm going to ask him a few questions and he's going to share a lot of his experience with you guys. I hope you guys really enjoy this podcast. Tino?
Hello, John. Thank you for having me. Uh, I'm so honored to be here today. Just kidding.
I was like,
Just look at your face.
I was like,
Tyler
I
probably
thought I
have
had Tino Vo, but I had Tino Ho instead.
probably thought I have a section, don't you?
I was like, I don't remember Tino sounding like this. That's shocked. I didn't know you had that in you.
I didn't know that neither, John.
Keep it a prank on me.
But anyway, I was very excited to be here today on the podcast.
I really
my first
appreciate
time
it.
ever.
I know, first time doing podcasts. I mean, I got you out in the streets 3-4 years ago doing classes all over the United States. So I give you all experience. On the way here, I even make sure you guys make it here on time. I make sure you guys in the right place by setting a car on fire, and that's
All kind of excitement
all
tonight.
kind of excitement tonight. But anyways, back to the podcast. A lot of people are asking. One of the main questions is that in the industry itself, the nail industry itself asks is what the difference between. They ask me, but I want to ask you now. Is what's the difference between a nail tech and a nail artist? So when I give the answer, I always tell my followers, my students, I feel like a nail tech is all around. Pretty much do everything related to nails, acrylics, pretty much all the services. But as a nail artist, you kind of take a step further and you kind of find your niche and your passion, and you're specialized in a lot of artwork. And those are what we call nail artists. And I consider you a nail artist. And just because you're a nail artist means you don't know how to do acrylics or nails. It just means that you specialize in the art itself. So you're more proficient at it or you're more passionate at it. So how would you define the difference between a nail tech and a nail artist, if there's any, Tino?
Well, I think you nailed it on the head, John. It's a completely two different things. You see, a nail tech is someone who started in the service industry and know all the basic service like manicure, pedicure, and eventually they graduate to acrylic, gel X. And some will discover art along the way and develop into a nail artist, some number of them. But as a nail artist, I know from the get-go that I was into art. I just really just borrow nail as my platform, but it's not necessary that I into nails. I just started doing nail in high school, and I saved money for college by going to nail school, going to all the courses, and yes, I went to all the basic service like manicure, pedicure, acrylic. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily into it, but I borrow art as my platform because I love art. And when I went into it, I started out doing art firsthand. And immediately I was well known for my art. Yes, I do acrylic on people's hand as a foundation. But when I get to a point where I do art, I always get excited. And now I no longer really working on client anymore. And I right now creating content for social media. Right now I'm teaching. So I would say that a nail tech might find their own happiness in a salon, or maybe they went on to further into having their own product and so. But as a nail artist, I would say that my area is more expand. I not necessarily just into selling nail product or just into doing nail service for people. I do whatever it takes for my art.
So
So to me, that's two completely different things.
another question I would have, I think a lot of viewers have, do you have to have a background as an artist to be a nail artist? Like you have to know how to paint or how to draw, or is this
Not
something?
necessary.
Is this something that you can work towards? Some people are just naturally talented. I would consider you to be naturally talented in art because you jumped into it right away because you have the natural talent. But not all of us, like me, have natural talent. I have to bust my ass. it's gonna have to be a 9 to 5 job if I want to be a nail artist. And at this point of my career, after 15 years, I just don't have that time to take on another job. So that's why, although I am proficient in like basic, intermediate, and advanced art, but I wouldn't consider myself like a master of nail artist. Like I don't enjoy it as much as you do. As in, I can do it, but it's more like I have to do it. My clients requesting
Right.
it. It takes away kind of the enjoyment of being an artist. But for you, you actually enjoy it, and it pays off for you. So there's really a lot of perspective how you view, and I think a lot of nail techs think, I can't draw a stick figure worth
Right.
crap. There's no way I can be a nail artist. But I always tell them like anybody can be anything as long as you put a lot of work into it. If you don't have the talent, you just got to put in the effort. This is how it is. And do you think this is something that's you don't really have to have a background in nail art to do that?
No, not absolutely. There is no timeline for to become an artist. You can either find art early on in your life, or you can find art in the middle of the way when you started your nail career. It's just that you will know that very quickly when you pick up a paintbrush and trying to do art. You will know immediately because doesn't matter if you can or cannot, you will find love with art at first sight. So if you were to view it as a job, obviously you're not a nail artist. You can be a nail tech that are good at art.
Oh,
But to be a nail artist, you know immediately because when I teach, I noticed that there's two type of people that are practicing. You see, one that's saying they have to practice, and one couldn't wait to practice. You see, that is two different things.
ooh.
So to me, love at first sight, that is a sign that you're a true nail artist. But if you're not a nail artist, that's completely fine. That doesn't mean that you couldn't do art. You're just a nail tech that able to do art.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
everybody gets paid, right?
So to me, to be succeed in your journey, you just have to be aware of yourself. You have to be aware of who you are. You see, when a person that have a great interest in nail art, I would say that it would speed up their journey being a nail artist because practice, not really practice. But you see, if you doesn't love art, it will be a little more difficult because practice will be a lot of work. That doesn't mean that you
True.
can't. It's just gonna be a lot harder. So when a person come approached me and asked me, "Oh, Tino, what do you do with all the struggles when you are discouraged?"
Wait, Tino, is that how
by
you
it?"
read all of our messages?
Yes, absolutely.
That's how I sound like when I message you?
Yeah, with my alternative
Oh,
voice.
okay. I
Like,
just want to
"Oh,
make sure.
Tino, what do you do with all the struggle?"
Oh,
Oh,
okay. So that's probably yeah.
that what will tell
So
them.
guys, when you DM Tino, that's literally how he reads your messages
Yes,
in
in
your
a
comments.
dramatic
Okay.
voice,
Yeah.
just for me to understand their state of mind. And I always giggle inside because I tell them, honey, I never struggles. Sometimes I get annoyed. I get annoyed because other people around me might bother me when I do art. I get annoyed maybe because I don't have enough time to do art, but I never struggle in art. When I practice, I couldn't wait to practice. When I couldn't do something, like let's say there is a certain technique in a nail set that I couldn't accomplish, I am upset and I stay up day and night trying to crack that code.
I remember this.
It's never a had to with me.
I remember this because when we used to teach classes and you run into a problem with one of the products, like we teach 2 days. So the first day we'll teach the acrylic portion, which I'm responsible for, and Tino will teach the art portion. And whenever we run into a problem with the product and preparing for his portion the next day, we'd be sitting up late at night, just sitting there practicing with this product. And I just remember like I'm in class again. It was fun though. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, we went through 18 different states over 2 years when we taught together, and I felt like that time with you was like really. I mean, I think anybody would want that opportunity, and I was actually feel really blessed to be able to be in that position because I know back then you didn't really collaborate or talk classes. I mean, you go back to the story of how Manel, Dad, and Tino, became a a teaching dual. You never believe it. I just slid in his DM. Pretty much, I was a nobody. I just like, hey, I want to teach with this guy, and I love his work. I'm very proficient in acrylics. I know I'm confident teaching acrylics, but like I said, I'm not the artist, and I want to provide the best for my students. So I'm gonna find the best, and if I had to slide into Tino's DM for my students, that's what I did. And for some reason, he opened my message, I guess.
You know, for because a lot of people come to me for advice, and my most honest advice for you, because everybody want to be succeed at whatever it is that they want, right? So first you have to make sure that you know exactly what you want, because as I say, there's two type of student that I witness in class. One sit there and struggles and ask me, "Oh, I couldn't get it. I'm starting to give up. Help me." And for those, I advise you that you have to know exactly what you want. You're not a nail artist, but you want to be successful. So go take a break. Go outside, take a break, and then come back with a clear mind. But then I noticed the other one who sit there and doesn't eat lunch and skip lunch and obsessively working on nail art. And I say, you know what, honey, go for it. Because I know exactly what they are and what they want. They just want to do art. So to me, to be success in your journey, you just have to know exactly what you want.
This is the thing. I truly, we see that every class, right? There are some students, but not necessarily. Like sometimes, like we ask the students to take a break because some of the stuff really is intensive and it
And did I
fries their
take
brain.
a break?
No, see, he's the pot calling the kettle black because he never takes a break. I mean, we have to pretty much force feed him at some point because he gets too immersed into it, and that's my job and Dustin's job to make sure that he's nourished because he'd probably work himself down to empty, and that's one of those things. That's how immersive he is. And I'm saying like not everybody's gonna be at that level of dedication. I think at some point you're obsessed with art.
Always. I'm always obsessed with
You're
art.
obsessed with it because you don't listen, you don't eat. Sometimes we have to force you. There are times when I say nope, stop everything. I turn off the cameras, I turn everything off. And you can't if he can't do the demos, I mean he has to do something else. Then he gets drinks of water. Then he gets to eat stuff like that, or else you wouldn't do it. And I'm true. Like when we were doing that, I started to be, I wouldn't say intimidated, but I was like, you know what? However good I thought I was, I'm not that. How much I love this industry. You love art way more, as into an obsessive level. And there's different levels of, type of, nail tech. And I think art really comes with a personality.
Absolutely. To me, mine is have developed since a very young age. You see, when I was a little boy, I always find difficulty fitting in with others. I always have problem with communication and socialize due to my autism. So I always stuck myself in a room all day, and I will paint, I would draw, and I will find peace in my art, and it's always make me happy. So until this day, it doesn't matter how much practice I have when people come to me and say, "Oh, Tino, how do you do it? How you do it?" Some might think that I in it for success and money. Yes, that's part of it, but nail art have always bring me to that happy place. Always have a deeper meaning to it more than just what people think.
I mean, I traveled, taught with you guys for 2 years. I mean, we did literally 2 classes a month. You guys see that's 4 days. 1 day to travel, 2 days to teach, 1 day to rest and come back home. That's 8 days a month. That's almost a week of the month for 2 years. And I never knew that you had autism. I never knew. It was only till later on, that I found out, and I was like, I never noticed it. And as something like it, and it's true because some autism have different spectrums, and for yours is the creative level.
Yes, I have Asperger, and just a few Dre in Asperger syndrome is a condition in the autistic spectrum. Is we just have a we just have a it affects our ability to effectively communicate and socialize, and also the obsession also come with it. And I whenever I hear a question, like let's say you ask me a question, I obsess with answers. That's why I'm not very good with small talk. When people come and approach me talking about the weather, whatever, I'm not very good at it because it doesn't involve question. But you see, when people ask me question, I want to answers. But you
So
see, sometimes the other party might be disengaged, might be losing interest, but I will feel the need to keep on explaining until I think that you understand. Not is when you understand, when I think you understand.
oh,
So that I guess that could be a bad thing or that could be a good thing because that's quality since a young age. It have haunted me because I'm always different. And I always struggle with it because I want to fit in and I want to make friends. So I spend a great amount of time in my teenage year trying to fit in, trying to be normal. But it doesn't matter how hard I try, I just couldn't. And until this day, I would say that I'm absolutely feeling grateful and blessed that I have remained different throughout all these years because that I would say an ability now that will help me with performing on stage, with educating because I'm great at answering questions. I love answering questions.
you know, he might. A lot of you guys are watching Tino's live when he does the free classes on his website, on his Instagram. You guys are blessed. Without Now Dad, Tino wouldn't be able to be in front of that camera. Okay, and me and Tino are like kind of exact opposites. As in, like, he struggles with small talk.
So
I'm the socialite. I can.
exactly. He's like a radio host. I was like, John, how do you keep on talking and talking? All that it's like so freaky.
So
It's initiation because we in class, me and John, both of us might seem to be very communicative, very socialite. But you see, I cannot initiate. I cannot just stand in front of a crowd and start a subject. I need someone there to initiate it for me. And then I can answer.
hello.
I'm great at answering. I'm just not great at
I
initiating.
mean, like we're kind of opposites, but like we make up for each other. Like, it's in like a balance because you guys know, the first time I made Tino actually go on live, he was shaking. He had to
Yes.
he had to get drunk. I remember
Yeah.
it was at your house, at your house, and you say I've drank 4 glasses of wine because I need Tino to be exposed to the world. The Tino Vo before Now that was pictures,
Yes, picture all the
pictures.
time. I wouldn't show myself for the public. I get nervous. I get nervous because throughout all my life, I always been viewed as different, and you know, yes. Now the day people are like, oh, it's great to be different, but you have to understand that from my perspective, it's not a good thing because I want to make friends. I want to fit in. And I get nervous every time I introduce myself in public because I wonder what people will think, and until this day, every time I go to a show, especially someone new, or every time I start to have in a class, I always get nervous at first. And I was shaking in the backstage, and the moment I hit the spotlight, I change because of what? Because I dare to teach nail art. I dare to show people how to do nail art, and in that perspective, I do not get nervous. I do not find trouble because is everything that I already know. All the nail technique, all the step I already know. So I feel excited when I get a chance to explain that to people and seeing that it's done in their
I
head.
still remember our first class, New York, a little bit after COVID. Tino sitting there doing the demo. Hey guys, I'm doing something. And I'm standing next to him, like, everybody's like, it's all right. We're gonna put some blend here. I think maybe here. And I was like, Tino, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And they're like, I don't know what to do. So I took the microphone. I'm like, so right now, Tino is going to be blending in the pigment. What you're going to do is you're going to make sure you get the pigment out of your brush, and you're going to be able to bring up less pigment so you can do your ombre. And then Tino's going to... I was Tino's caption. Audio caption. And from there on, I was like, I knew from that point, I was like, I need to get you out of your shell. So I was like, Tino, every class we're going to do once or twice a night. You're going to go live. We're going to read comments, and we're going to engage with people. You're going to put your face in front of the camera. And that's when we started doing more lives, more classes.
Yes.
And you were getting more comfortable reading questions and stuff like that. And that's when you're able to kind of break out of your shell a little bit. And afterwards, you just went off.
After the first live, I was hooked.
You were hooked. He
was
was
hooked.
addicted. I gave this guy crack.
Yeah, and you know, people always sometimes they think that, oh, there's two sides of me, you know, and it's true in some perspective, because whenever I'm introduced to someone new, I always kind of shy-ish, you know. I'm not very openish, but whenever I know someone like you, I know someone for a while, I start to be very comfortable, and sometimes I'm overly obnoxious. So to me, it's about the comfort zone for me. Like the live. Before I was doing live, I get nervous. I don't want to do live. But after the first live, I absolutely get hooked. I love doing live now.
I don't know where. Next thing you know, he's walking out in all these outfits. I'm like, look at him go.
Yes.
Look at him go. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of monster did I create? But in a good way, because that's truly what my main goal was. Because my job, I think for me and being in this industry, how much I love this nail industry, and I love to create content, educational, humorous, whatever that is needed. Someone might find it helpful. And I felt like you were someone that needed to be seen more than outside just a lovely picture they can share. They need to know your personality, the teaching, everything like that, you know? And when I saw you do the free online class afterwards, I'm like, he's off. How many people has he helped? How many people has he inspired? All the things he's done for this industry. I truly was very happy for you. I was happy for the nail industry to be able to finally get Tino Vo at 150%, you know? And that, like, you know, like I would say, people, they ask me who you think is the best, you know, nail artist. I'm like, hey, I don't know about being the best nail artist, but I know that the most creative nail tech out there, artist, is Tino Vo in the world. Arguably, I cannot see anybody more creative. As in, you know, sometimes we take inspiration from other people's work. I feel like there's whenever I see your work, I don't see it from somewhere else. I feel like that's like the source, the ground zero from that. Because you draw inspiration not from other people, you draw it from your environment. And the environment always changes. You're always in a different environment. And then now us nail techs, nail artists can draw that inspiration from you. You know, I feel like you have a direct tap source to your environment and the nature, given your circumstances, that many of us don't have. And that's definitely something truly special to be able to have in this nail industry. And I hope there are more of you in the future. I hope you
Well, that's
inspire
my
more.
mission. That is my mission, to creating more Tinos. And one of the things that I hope for is that the one that I teach is not just as good at me, but better than me. Because you see, I have spent so many years since day one, because 15 years ago, there's no one teaching you anything. So when I see a nail set, especially coming from Russia, because you know they're way ahead of us, I
always say
have
that.
to find a way to know, to get that, to achieve that result. Find whatever ingredient I can find. Sometimes I alter ingredient. And thankfully, because of that, till this day, I understand chemicals and I understand product. But you see, I have spent, let's say, a technique. I spent about a year cracking that code. You see, you don't need to spend a year for that. All you need to spend a couple of hours learning from me, and you'll be able to cultivate it. So you're talking about 15-year experience. You can learn within a year of your life.
That's a cheat code.
Yeah, that's the cheat code. So I don't expect you to be like me because that will be a failure. I expect you to be better than me because 1 year learning
If you
everything
already
from
have the
me.
cheat code, you better be better than me.
You better be better than me because then after 1 years, now you are ready to take what you learn and then you have to be able to self-develop, and that again, talking about what's the difference between a nail tech and a nail artist, I will take you to that point again. Is when you say that I'm on live teaching, every week. You see, I saw a certain number of people that doesn't go on live, but then they see everybody start to go on live and teach, and they starting to go on live and teach too, but they only last for a few time, and then they not on live anymore. So with that, you have to notice that is what different between a nail tech and a nail artist. Because when I go on live, I don't go on there because I have to. I go on there because I love to go on there and teach. You see, that where your passion lay. So it's not really about what is a nail tech and what is a nail artist anymore. It's about what is your passion. What do you want? What do you like in life? You have to know exactly. Don't kid yourself. Don't. You have to be
You gotta be honest
honest
with
with
yourself.
yourself before you can take the next step to
This is
success.
like one of those things where, as someone that's an educator like me, I teach acrylics mainly, and I get a lot of nail tech beginners look up to me. They ask me, I just got into the nail industry now, Dad, and I want to do long nails. I want to draw art. I want to do all this extravagant stuff. And I look at them, and I'm like, is that really what you want, or do you really want to make money first? And then they're like, well, yeah, I want to make money. Well, it's easier for you to do the basic sets first, make your money, get your experience. Then when you can support that starving artist, because that's what it is. To be a nail artist is to be a starving artist. Just because you're an amazing artist on nails doesn't mean that it's gonna be clients flying out the door to pay you $300-$400. Your money's worth for it, right? There's a very small percentage of clients that get that. That's why it's a starving artist. And you're gonna be competing with who? Tino Vo, everyone of more experience, that naturally talented. So I don't want to discourage them, but I do want to send them in the right direction so they can get past their first 2 years of the career before they kind of burn out and say, I can't do this. I can't financially support myself. And at the end of the day, you give up.
Yeah,
So that's why I'm like, hey, I'm not discouraging you. I'm just trying to give you a nice timeline so you can build yourself up to it. And it's one of those things, like it's tough to give these nail techs these answers that they don't want to hear.
You see, we always have answer. It's just not necessarily the answer that they want.
Yeah.
Because me, you say when people come to you and say, "Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. I've tried this for a while and I couldn't." I'm telling you, right now, I'm owning my own product, educating people. I do nail art every single day. If anything happened to me and I end up working at the back of a Chinese restaurant washing dishes, guess what I do at home when I go back home at night? I'm gonna do art. So don't kid yourself because sometimes there's certain number of people come to me and say, Tino, what is your advice for me for social media? Such potential question. I say, well, what are you looking for? What do you want to do for social media? And they say, I want to empower people. I say, well, you're already doing it. If you worry about a number, if you worry about being famous, it's okay. But you have to accept that that is what you want. You have to know that is what you want first before you take the next step. As I say, there's something for everyone, but first I have to know exactly what you want. What is my advice for you for social media? Well, you have to admit that you on it because you want a lot of like, you want many comments, you want big algorithm, and you want to be famous. You have to have the courage to admit that to me. Don't give me such potential answer like I want to empower people. Because honey, if you want to empower people, I want to empower people everywhere, not just on social media, even with my friend.
Play the church music. This is quiet. I'm gonna edit the church music in. Just There it is. That church mute just split. I edited it in there for you. So yeah, if you want to empower people on social media, that's fine. You don't need
That's fine.
you don't need a big following. You have 10 followers and you truly want to empower people and you put content out there for those 10 followers and they will feel empowered. There it is. You don't need to empower a certain amount of people. I do get that.
Yeah, if you want to empower people, you don't have
You don't need to
struggle.
empower one person.
There's
You
no
can go
struggle.
outside and give a homeless guy $5. You've empowered him.
Because if you admit to me that you want to be famous, you want to be popular, then I will have the answer for you. You know, I will try to ask you, well, what are you good at? You know, are you good at nail art or are you good at management? You know, you got good at just doing a foundation. What you good at? You find your strong point and you hit it. You nailed it and you chasing that. You focus on that strong point and anything else, which is a weak point, you work on it on the side. Like when I first started, I'm not very good at acrylic. I have to do acrylic at first, but you see art, I jump in immediately. That is my strong point at first. So that is my obsession. I jump in and people immediately know me for my art. They bypass the ugly shape of acrylic, but because they love my art. And then I spend hour at night practicing my acrylic. You see, you practice what everybody else expected on the side, but you have to find your strong point. And then that when you produce your good piece of art, that's one thing. But for people on social media to see that, that is another thing. Now you're no longer an artist. Now you are a photographer. Now you edit videos. Now you even a performers, a comedian. Social media is a full-time job. There
It is a
is a
full-time job,
way.
yes.
There is a way.
That may not pay you at some point. Okay? Just because it's a full-time job doesn't mean you're going to get any rewards from it. That's why social media is almost like a starving artist, like, you know?
Yeah.
And you just got to push through. And like, going back to the empowered thing, like, I get that a lot too from people that ask me. And it's definitely sometimes the answer they don't want to hear. I know a lot of people watching this right now are probably thinking, ooh, that's a can of worms you guys just opened. But it's honesty.
yeah.
It's just being honest. I was empowering people before I even had an Instagram, before I even had a TikTok, before I even knew how to use social media. I didn't even know what a hashtag was. You know, when I first started my social media career right after COVID, I had 264 friends on Facebook. One day I was just I had, 10 to 15 clients on average a day. And one day I just thought, hey, I see a lot of people in these Facebook group asking all these questions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my camera with my clients and just turn it on, go live, whatever, and then just do nails. And I remember the first time, like, 10 people are watching me. Exciting. Like, oh my God, like 10 people watching me. And then later on, like, I'm having some questions. Oh, yeah. Hey, what are you doing with that? I'm like, I'm just, cleaning up the cuticle area. Oh, I'm shaped like this. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then my next client comes in. I turn off that live, save it, post it, and turn on the live again. Ooh, wow, 25 people? Oh, people are sharing this? People are commenting? And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. I did it. I did 8 to 10 lives a day. 6 days a week for a year without a social media account. Only then I realized that, I need, people are like, are you on Instagram? Are you on TikTok? Are you on YouTube? That's like, I have to make other stuff. Like, okay, fine, I have to do it. And I think one time I really reached my peak that I didn't notice. I think it was about 6 months into doing this. And this is, when Florida opened up after COVID, like earlier than most states, people were stuck at home. They were watching me while they're doing dishes. They were watching me while they're doing laundry. They're watching me while they're driving. They're to the supermarket. They were watching me all day, and it became like the Truman Show. I was the Nail Truman Show. They live vicariously through my lives, seeing clients come in and me talking to the clients, and then the sets getting done in real time, and how fast I was, and I was answering questions. And I think around 6 months, I turned on live one night. It just the algorithm hit really good. People were sharing everything like that. I looked over because I'm working. I'm looking over, and I see 2 and 1, and then K. I didn't really think anything about it with K. I was like, oh wow, there's 21 people watching me right now. I said that, and someone, all the comments like, I was like, what's going on? I'm like, why are there so many comments for 21 people? It was like, oh, that's not 21 people. That's 21,000. 21,000 people watch. And then I did dawn me. I'm like, are you telling me there's 21,000 people sitting there watching me like nip some cuticles and apply some acrylic? And it just dawned like, wow, that's pretty crazy. And that was like the peak. And then I think after my first year, I was averaging about 300 million views on Facebook per month. And Facebook sent me like this like analytic. And this was before the monetization, anything like that. This was like it was just totally different. And I have the screenshot of that too. I save it, to remember. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm actually empowering people. That's when I started doing classes. I grew into the empowerment, and like I knew that okay, what I was doing was helping people and giving them the confidence. I wouldn't even say empowering. Empowering is a definitely a really tough word to say, right?
It
Like
is. It's sometimes it's.
I know I wasn't empowering people. I was just motivating and helping people. I think when someone says I want to empower you, like what am I like? Am I a battery? Like am I just completely dead and you just want to charge me or something? Like
It depends on the person, and we can read a person. I mean, sometimes you might think that people there just for the now, people just there to watch you do nail art, but really, John, you beside a comedian, you're a coach. And you give
true.
people advice. People there is for
Yeah,
you.
I coach you too.
Yeah.
And I got seen on the show, but like in a sense, no, I keep thinking about this word empowering. It seems like a lot of work. It seems like a serious like I don't think like when did you use that word in any kind of vocabulary?
But you don't use that word for yourself. You use words. Other people use that word.
Yeah, that's
to you.
weird. It's like I wouldn't. I don't think like I've never been in a situation where I want to walk up to somebody and be like, I want to empower you, because it just sounds like so like out there, like so assertive. It sounds like a Tony Robbins seminar. Like you got like right after I say that, we're walking across hot coals. Like I'm gonna empower you to walk across these hot. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm not gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna empower you to shape better. That's just too serious.
Some people are meant to do that.
Yeah.
Some people are meant to do that. And you know what? People that want to empower people, the people that is a passion, they don't struggle. They don't come and ask me, Tino, what are your advice for me for social media? Because I want to empower people. Trust me, you don't struggle through it. You just do it.
I think if you personally like have that passion to empower people, you wouldn't need to ask someone how to do it.
Exactly.
Because empowering is just one of those things where it's like it should be a fire burning inside you.
Exactly.
And you should really know how to do it.
Exactly.
And now you think about that, like I think I'm gonna have a dream about that word. Tomorrow I'm just like talk to my wife, just like, hey babe, I want to empower you to do the laundry. I think she would probably put me to sleep. I'm always afraid of my wife. She's an anesthesiologist, and one day, every day I wake up, I'm blessed. It means I did something right. Make sure I do the dishes before I go to bed. I'm good. But yeah, let's go past that. Let me ask you another question, Tino. Competitiveness in the nail industry or in the art as an artist. Do you find yourself be in competition at all? Or do you feel like the competition is good, bad, or needed?
Oh, I'm very competitive. I view everyone as a competition since day one. And there's no hatred in it, and there's no envious in this. That's just that I want to be on top on every aspect of it. In art, in selling product, in teaching, I want to be the best of the best. That is my drive. That is my motivation. I notice that whenever there is someone that I want to compete with, it drives me. I stay up at night and I practice and I try to crack more nail code. But whenever I'm out of competition, I notice that I will end up in a state where I'm comfortable. And that is when I notice that my creativity is stagnant until I find another person that I want to strive to be on that level or be better. And to me, that is a healthy thing for me. Now, that just depends on the type of person. You see, sometimes people are competitive in a bad, petty way. So that just depend on the person. It could be healthy, could be unhealthy. Just depend on you. You see, when I am in school, I'm very competitive. Especially, let me tell you, just a personal stories about me in Spanish class. You see, beside art, language is something else that I wouldn't say is a gift, but I'm obsessed with language. So I was in Spanish class, and one day my teacher had a essay for us to do. So everybody write in the little essay, little sentence that they have been taught by the teacher, and then they get in front of a class, and then they read the essay. Hola, cómo estás? Me llamo blah blah blah. The typicals, and the one that deliver a smooth speech will get an A. And when I get up there, I didn't have an essay. You see, because I already memorized all of it. When I get up there, I stare the audience right in the eyes, including my teacher, and I deliver a speech like a native. And I even went an extra mile. I throw in a few sentences that she haven't taught yet. And my teacher gave me an A plus. So I was excited, right? I show everyone, I'm like, oh, look. And I show my best friend Tanasha. I like, Tanasha, look at me, I got an A plus. And she gets so mad. She come to my teacher and she complained about it. She said, I get an A. And I do everything right, I get an A. Why is Tino get an A plus? So my teacher, my Spanish teacher, bless her heart, she had to call me up quietly and told me, Tino, I am very proud and impressed with your speech, but I'm not supposed to give you an A plus because in my class the math is an A. So I have to take back that plus, but I'm very proud of you and that's all I need. I'm very competitive and that moment I was very happy because, hey, Tanasha, I get that plus no matter what. And to me, that is my drive.
What level of pettiness to take away the plus just because you got an A? I mean,
So that explains for you the level of competitiveness. You see, Tanasha is also competitive, and I'm also competitive, but in a different way. You see, Tanasha is structured, and see there, she did everything right. But you see, I want to speak like a actual Spanish speakers, and I want to be a little more creative with it. You see, so at night I try to go an extra mile at night just to spy up that speech, that essay a little bit. That is a competitiveness inside me.
So
and it's
Tanasha,
healthy.
if you're watching, Tino got the A plus, girl. All right, she got the A plus.
Hi, Tanasha.
Anyway, in the like you said in the industry, positive competition drives you,
Yes.
pushes you forward. And like anything, in nail supply, clients, I see a lot of nail techs competing with each other. Let's talk about the competition in the industry right now. A lot of nail techs compete with each other rather than elevating each other. There's more than enough for everyone, okay? For one. Two, you're trying to elevate the industry, move it forward, bring more to the industry so they get more clients, better products, not try to beat that person that you want to compete with.
Exactly.
It's no effect. Like, Tanasha, did you feel great that Tino lost his A plus? Or maybe now the teacher can add an extra level to the grading scale that you can achieve an A plus for yourself. You get what I mean? Like, you have to think about competition to drive you to get better, and almost a friendly competition. You also need someone with you, just like you need a gym buddy to go to the gym, right? But if you're gonna compete to just step on somebody or make sure they don't get it because you can't have it, or block their blessings.
Yeah, like if you went to the gym, right, and your body is bigger than you can either, you have two choice. You can either pump more weight.
Or start a podcast like me.
Yeah, you can pump more weight and become bigger than him. That's choice number one. Or you can put extra butter in his sandwich to make him fatter. So
That's what happened to me.
so you know what I mean? So when it comes to competitiveness, let's say there is a person that they art skill, their popularity, their level that I admire. I have two choice. One is strive to be better or try to sabotage. To me, that is two different way
Wow.
of competition. You know, that is two different people. One, a person would try to be better. Like me, if there is a person that I admire, that I want to compete with, I try to be better than them. But you see, some people would try to bring the other person down, to sabotage.
Down to their level.
That's just a different way. Yes.
Yes.
So it just depends.
It's very tough. We see a lot of that in this industry, a lot of it. And guess who's, and the ones that get affected the most are the ones that are entering the new ones, they're entering the industry.
Well, because it's all about self growth. So if you sabotage someone, you obviously couldn't grow from that. But my way of competitiveness, I have to say that throughout all the years, I have grown tremendously.
Yeah, it drives you.
It
Whenever-
drives me.
It drives you, and also it drives them, because when they see you going up, they might see you as a friendly competition too, and you guys keep leveling up together.
Yes.
Why downgrade? Supersize, okay? It's business.
But then that just separate us from different inner circle. You see, my inner circle is different. It's full of people that we might compete with each other, but we also like each other very much. And then there's these other inner circle that all the negative Nelly are grouped together, and they did not practice nail art. They just sit together, talk bad about everyone else. So that should depend on what inner circle you want to be in.
So surround yourself or put yourself in a circle that is going to be healthy for you. I think a lot of nail techs really are starting to see that now with social media and stuff like that. Now that we're able to connect with each other. Because back in the day, we never had that problem, right? Let's be honest. Before social media, we never knew who's going to be across the country. We just don't want to worry about our local salons, what's down the street, for customers. So I think like even social media made it so that you connect, everybody can connect together, and it's a blessing. But also, it's really tough too, because for those that are seeing your art and comparing themselves to you, do you ever run into any issues when a nail tech would compare themselves to you and they feel bad about themselves? Like, I wish I could be as good as him, or like I when I see his work, it makes me, I joke with that video I just posted where I put your samples on there. It made me like lose my self-esteem and stuff like that. And of course, that's a joke, but I think there are some people that maybe do feel that way. Do you ever run that situation?
Well, I do run into that situation, but maybe it's my autism, but I have no feeling from it because that's not my problem. That's their problem. You see, if a person view me a certain way, like, oh my God, he's so good. I want to be just like you. Now that's up to you to how you deal with it. Are you gonna stay up at night and practice to be just like me? Or are you gonna sit there and dwell on it? So when it comes to that, that's their problem. That's not mine. You see, because that's an opportunity to grow. Before social media, I thought I was the best one in the whole world because I'm not exposed to the whole world. I only know whoever it is in my small little town of Springfield, Missouri. And guess what happened when when Pinterest were introduced? You remember Pinterest?
Yes, yeah.
And then Instagram were introduced, and I get to see all these Russian nail artists that are amazing. And yeah, it's a few minutes of denial. It's like, oh, that might be Photoshop. Because, back in the photo day.
Yeah, photos out of blur, blur, blur.
Oh, that's fake. Oh,
yeah.
that couldn't be real. But reality catch up to me pretty quick that there is way better people out there now. Do I care what they think? No, they don't even know what I think. Now it's my problem. Now am I gonna stay up all night and practice to be just like them? Or am I gonna sit there and dwell on it? That will be my problem, right?
I think some things are in your control, and it's up to you how you want to put yourself, move yourself forward or hold yourself back. And I know it's tough. I get it. You want someone to tell you it's okay. You are good. You want that motivation. You want that,
Oh, you see, that's not something that I want. You
yeah,
so until this day, I never satisfied with what I do.
yeah.
I never think that I'm good because the moment you think you're good, that's when you stop. I
Oh,
always
I would say that.
feel a certain level of unsatisfaction. I can never be satisfied. Sure, when I'm in a process of creating piece of art, I'm really into it. And then the moment where I get to that point where I accomplish that look, there is a brief moment of accomplishment and I feel great and I there is a few seconds of celebration. But then I get bored with it. Oh, whatever. I move on and I'm looking for something better. So I would say that I never feel like I'm good enough.
Mm.
And I really don't expect you to want to be good enough. I mean, if you come to me like, oh, I want to get good. I want to get better. I don't know about this. I don't know. I just see a lot of flaw in it. Bravo. Whenever people come to me and say that, I applaud them because that means you want to continue growing
Mm-hmm.
versus people that when I try to show them something, I already know. Oh, it's okay. Uh, I, I know that already. For me,
We
that's
ran
not
into that a lot
grow.
with classes,
Yeah,
right?
that's not
So this is
growing.
like it's the hunger. You
Yes.
never like I see nail techs, nail artists, whatever you are. They want to be perfect. Listen, if
The artist
bleach, yeah,
struggle.
if bleach, Clorox, all these major cleaning companies, do you ever see 100% kill germs? No, it's always 99.99999 kill germs because nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. You need to be hungry. You need to be able to see your flaws to be able to grow. If you think you're perfect already, you're gonna be stagnant. There's so many nail
Yeah.
techs. They're stagnant.
Yeah, because let me tell you that sure, maybe that's searching a perfection for a brief moment, but let me tell you, 5 years ago, or maybe a little further, maybe 7, 8 years ago, I do an ombre for this girl who work at a restaurant. I do an pink and white ombre. The moment she see it, she go crazy, and the next day, all of her worker come to me to do that pink and white ombre. Get now today with the white ombre is so typical. Now today it's a normal
It's
thing.
basic. Ombre
It's
is like a basic
because
technique.
now art is just like fashion is moving fast, especially with social media now today. And fashion go in and out. One day you are in, the next day you are out. So, honey, just because you are perfect at this exact moment, don't blink because soon whatever technique or whatever piece of art it is that seemed to be perfect and beautiful at that moment in time, sooner or later people are gonna learn, people are gonna grow, and that will become normalized, and that is the time you have to up your game. So to me, when people feel discouraged because of certain content that they did maybe last year that are great, but then a years later it seems okay and they feel defeated. It's not their fault. It's not because they are down on the game. It's because things are remaining the same. So you have to know that every 6 months I struggle internally. You see, it doesn't. I know that people view my social media very strong. I have a million plus follower, or I must not have to practice anymore. But every 6 months, I struggle because every 6 months, I discover myself stagnant. Okay, and when people lose a little bit of interest, it's not because my art are bad. It's because it's the same. And that is when I go into my head and I self analyze up, okay, what do people want? What the public wants? And that's when I look around and see what the vibe it is. Because last year vibe what about more of fun character painting. This year I remember what you asked me about, Tino, what do you see the direction of now coming in the future? And I told you that it's building up.
Yeah.
Well, this year you see all kind of embossed design, all kind of 3Ds
I think
and
I remember you
alien
doing that for
galaxy
a
inspired.
while. Yeah.
So it changed.
Yeah.
This year it totally changed.
It's like
So
seasons.
discover that quick and
You gotta be
up your
you gotta be ahead
game.
of it. You
Yes,
know.
you have to keep on growing. You can never be satisfied with yourself because you stay there.
So
You
we had me and Thai Life, we had a social media seminar at the premiere today at 2 to 4, and I told the Nowtex this, like, having more followers does not make your job easier. It makes
no.
it harder. It's more demanding on the content creators to keep up. It's like having more mouths to feed, right? And sometimes you just get burnt out,
Yes.
and then they'll starve, and then
Just
they'll
be careful what
die.
you wish
You
for.
know, yeah, be careful what you wish for. Having a lot of Neotex, like you said earlier, they want. Uh, hey, what do you want with your? So I want to grow. I want more followers. I'm like, and what do you want? As in, like, okay, you want more followers, but you want followers that is gonna turn into income, potential clients, potential customers, or you want followers from all over that maybe not be interested in patronizing your business, but just there to watch your funny videos or skits and stuff like that. So it's like I tell them like this all the time. Like, I have students that have 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 followers that are booked and busy 6 months out, 6 figures a year. And I have people that are 40, 50,000 followers that make no money at all.
Well, then again, that's up to what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to empower people or do you want some attention? Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Some people think that I would judge them for being honest with me. No, be honest with me so I can show you the way. Do you want some attention? All you care about is attention, or all you care about is helping people. Either way is fine. I have an answer for both, as long as you are honest with me. Now, talking about follower, like you say, be careful what you wish for, because I mean, when you don't have a lot of follower, you can have 10 content this week, and next week you can take a week off. Okay, nobody
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
But when you have a lot of follower and you take like a day off, people are like, what's going on? Is something wrong? Are you
Yeah.
okay? Are you okay? Like 1,000 of DM. Are you okay? I didn't see you post today. I didn't see you today. Where are you? Are you fine? So be careful what you wish for.
So, like, when being a content creator, your life is no longer yourself. Like I told you before, when we talk pretty deep sometimes, and whenever I run into any kind of slump in like my career, or if I lose motivation, I always kind of reach out to you and we kind of have a little chat and stuff like that. And I told myself, like, I took a 3 week break, and that means like maybe I post once in a while, but I wasn't really focused on my content. I just told myself I want to get the studio finished. I want to start a new thing. So I don't want to be too distracted. I wanted to finish one goal at a time. So I just like, I'm not gonna create content. Not like I said, schedule myself to create content for 3 weeks and see what happens. I lost about 600 followers, and the majority of them are probably bots. But then again, I'm like, hey, if I didn't create content for 3 weeks and I only lost 600 followers, that's not bad. Because when I come back, I'm gonna come back stronger. Sometimes you need a break, and for me, I can take that break. I'm in the 200 plus thousand followers, not too bad. For you to take 3 weeks off, it's pretty much impossible. Because you have to have, if you need 3 weeks off, you have to have content prepared to post, right? That's why it's very tough. It's very demanding the more followers you get. It's almost a sense of responsibility because
Yes.
they look forward to your content. Do you have people that organically enjoy or educated or entertained with your content? And now it's more, you feel more like is more demanding, also expected of you, and it becomes a job, and also, more mouths to feed, pretty much.
Yeah, but don't stress on it. Talking about this subject of losing follower, I never stress on it. Because algorithm nowadays, let's say a day I gain about 1,000 follower and I lose about 200 follower. For a typical person, that might be catastrophic. Oh my God, I lose 200 follower. But for me, that's normal. My highest point is when I gain 15,000 followers a day, and my losing is still the same, about 200 or 300 people. But to me, I never sweat on it because I only interest on people that like Tino. You see, people that unfollow, I have no problem with that
Yeah.
because I only like people that like Tino.
Yeah, you want the followers that want to stay because they're gonna engage with your
Yes.
content to reach more people that
That's
might
why I
enjoy
look
it.
down on people that pay for follower,
Oh.
that pay for like. Not like it's gonna help the algorithm in any
It's
way.
an instant death sentence on
But
your on your
what is it that you're looking for? You're looking
The
for just the
numbers.
numbers?
the
You know what I
numbers.
mean?
It's very addicting.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
we say that, but like there are people that are very addicted to the numbers. And like, I mean, I'm be honest with you, as a content creator, yes, as someone that was growing social media, I look at numbers all the time. But in a sense, like to go out and purchase them is an instant death sentence on your page.
Exactly.
Your page is once you purchase any engagement or followers, you have to consistently purchase it. Or
Exactly.
your page is gonna look like, okay, you have 100,000 followers, but your videos are getting 500 views. It doesn't make sense because
Exactly.
those are bots, and the algorithm knows. They're like, okay, your posts are not getting the ratio of engagement per follower that you need, so this content is deemed not worthy. We're not gonna push it anywhere, and then you are completely shadow banned. And people don't realize that a lot of people will be organically good with 10,000 followers and they're getting good engagement. They think, you know what, I'm gonna fluff it up a little bit, treat myself to another 10,000 and make that 20,000, make it easy, you know, and then we'll be fine. Wrong. The moment they did that, boom, their page no longer grows organically, and then you just wasted that 10,000 organic followers.
Yes. So the subject that we are discussing today, and for those that are struggle mentally in any way, I hope that you take this subject and meditate on that to find out exactly what you want and take it to heart. So sleep on it. So maybe from that will help you with your struggle.
I think after
Whatever
if
that
you
is.
watch this and now you're looking at your 5,000 followers, you're like, I'm pretty satisfied that I have 5,000 followers and my engagement are 5,000 to 10,000 views. You know, that means I'm reaching 10,000 more or 5,000 more people than my followers are. That means my content is good. I'm satisfied. You have to be satisfied with it. I have one of my students, she has 2,000 followers, but she tells me about 20% of those people are my clients. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money because that's what she needs. She wants to make money. She says, now that I post content, but like I'm not too stressed out about it. I just want to make sure that I get clients. I want the people that are following me to be potential clients, not just someone that's just there and not going to be engaging. They might have clicked follow once because someone on my content. But for me too, you know, once I stop doing nails to getting clients, I stopped doing like kind of, you know, posts that to gain clients. I do posts to gain people that enjoy my education. I want to gain nail tech followers. It's that because the products, the education, the motivation, the comedy, that's what I want. So that, you know, but if let's say, God forbid, I need to go back to work, my content will change real quick. If you see now that struggling, if you know when I'm struggling, when you see I'm back in the trenches doing nails, and you're gonna start seeing me posting pictures of my work and then my link to book and all that stuff. It's just situational. I've spent 15 years doing nails. I own a nail salon. I spent enough time behind the chair and then I've saved up enough and invested myself into other businesses to make sure that I don't have to sit behind the chair all the time. Because doing nails is gonna take a toll on your body. You know, I went from Bath and Body Works to back and body aches. You know, you don't want that for your body. You can't do it forever. You have to plan ahead. And as someone that's entering the industry, you're a beginner, you need money. Okay, the only thing you should be stacking or the only numbers you're looking at is how much money you're gonna be making. And you need to stick to that. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about the followers. Don't worry about the trends, so much. Worry about getting the clients in that really gonna pay you. The mom nails, 80% of the industry are doing short. They just want good cuticle work, good shape.
And don't do nail forever. Grow from it.
Yeah, grow from it.
You know, if you are nail tech, then file nail for a while. Try to practice to be good at it, and eventually own salon. Okay. For nail artists, Same thing, but eventually become educators, become content creators. So it just doesn't matter what the direction take you. Just find exactly what you want and pursue it.
You gotta branch out of it. You know, I've grew up in a, you know, we both went into an era where we see a lot of the community that work themselves until they get old,
Yes.
and I did not want that. I respect my community. I respect, you know, everybody I work with. I see these older ladies work in the nail salons, and they just have nothing other than that.
Right.
They needed to put their kids to school and such, and that's why I'm looking at them like, listen, I'm the next generation of nail techs. I'm not gonna go down that same path.
You're not gonna go down that same path because that is a word that no longer exists.
Yeah, it doesn't. That generation is gone. Those nail techs that grind all the way in the salons for 20, 30 years, they put their kids through school so that their kids don't have to do what they do. So now there's a new type of generation of nail techs. That's now you see corporate salons opening up now.
Yeah.
There's an investment now. And there's no longer being a nail tech and then opening a salon. Now there's now people, someone can invest money into it without even having to do work, you know? And Tino, I really want to thank you for coming on this podcast. If you guys enjoy this podcast, we're going to start doing more. I'm going to bring on more people. And Tino is going to come back, you know, every 2 months or something like that. We're going to do more podcasts and stuff like that for you guys. Or if you guys have any questions or for our next podcast that you want us to talk about, just leave it in the comments and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And I really want to thank you, Tino, for being able to, you know, come here and do this with me. And I think as one of the very first to start this podcast out, I appreciate you.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
And then this is another way for me to expose you in a different way to the nail industry. And I hope you get addicted to this like crack. Because you'll be back every month. And we get more of Tino on Nail Dad's podcast. And I hope to bring on more and more nail techs that can be able to inspire you guys in the future. Okay, thank you so much, Tino. And make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and engage. And we'll see more of these later. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.